All right, imagine this. An army gets so confused, so disorganized that they end up fighting themselves and losing. No enemy, no actual battle, just pure chaotic stupidity. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Battle of Karánsebes, where the Austrian army managed to defeat itself. It's 1788, and the Austrians are marching into modern-day Romania to fight the Ottoman Empire. Their massive army, about 100,000 men, is advancing near the town of Karánsebes. But before they even see an Ottoman soldier, disaster strikes because of alcohol. So, a group of Austrian cavalry scouts rides ahead to check for Ottoman troops. But instead of finding an enemy, they find a group of local traders selling barrels of schnapps, strong liquor. Now, they're soldiers, they're tired, and they do what any reasonable army would do. They buy all the booze and start a drunken party right there in the middle of the night. Enter the Austrian infantry, who also want a drink. But the cavalry, they're feeling greedy. They don't want to share. So, an argument breaks out. Somewhere in the shouting and shoving, a shot is fired. Who fired it? No one knows. But this is an 18th century battlefield. Gunfire means the enemy is here. The drunken cavalry panics. They mount their horses and flee, screaming, "Turks! Turks!" at the top of their lungs. The infantry hears this, assumes they're under attack, and starts shooting wildly into the darkness. Meanwhile, the artillery units, hearing gunfire and shouting, assume it's a full-blown Ottoman assault. So, what do? They start firing cannons at their own army. Now, in the darkness and confusion, the officers try to regain control. They shout, "Halt! Halt!" But many of the Austrian soldiers don't speak German. They're Czechs, Hungarians, Italians, and Croats. And to them, halt kind of sounds like Allah. So, naturally, they think the Ottomans have already infiltrated the camp and are shouting their war cries. What happens next? Even more panic. The Austrians are fighting shadows, shooting at anything that moves, bayoneting their own men, and even trampling each other in blind terror. By morning, thousands of Austrian soldiers are either dead, wounded, or missing. And the Ottomans? They arrive 2 days later, only to find a battlefield littered with Austrian corpses. No actual battle, just one giant, self-inflicted disaster. When Emperor Joseph II heard what happened, I can only imagine him face-palming so hard it left a dent in his skull. Historians estimate that up to 10,000 Austrian soldiers were killed or wounded by themselves. And the Ottomans? They walked in and just took Karánsebes with zero resistance. To this day, it remains one of the most ridiculous, embarrassing military disasters in history. So, let me ask you, was this the dumbest military disaster ever? Or have you heard of something even worse? Let me know in the comments. And if you love insane history stories like this, make sure to subscribe before we accidentally start another friendly fire incident.